Welcome everyone to GTW Dystopia. I'm your host, Infinite Fantasy, and we're live here in Roman Italy. And we're about to hear from the chosen one himself, Steven Dynamite, as he makes his way out to the crowd tomorrow night. It will be him versus Dio Sebastian in an ambulance match, and what will be on the line may be the Grand Tour Championship, but the reason these two are fighting is far more personal. Former brothers, former best friends will be going toe-to-toe in one of the most dangerous matches in GTW. And that'll be live on pay-per-view when we go to Greece for the Grand Rumble. The objective of an ambulance match is to incapacitate your opponent to the point where they can no longer stand and are locked inside an ambulance, promptly sent to the infirmary. This all started back in All-Star when Dio Sebastian betrayed Steven Dynamite, nearly knocking him out, nearly causing him his match against Damian Maximus. And I, for one, can't wait to hear what Steven Dynamite has to say regarding his championship match tomorrow night. Italy, your chosen one is here. Now, in regards to tomorrow night, I'll be having a shot at the Grand Tour title, but, and here's a little interruption by his opponent tomorrow night, the Grand Tour champion, Dio Sebastian. Do not cheer for him. Dynamite is many things, but he is not the chosen one. He is a liar. He is a cheat. Most of all, Dynamite, you are jealous of me. Jealous? I'm jealous? What exactly am I jealous of, huh? Jealous of what? Jealous that I am the Grand Tour champion and you're not. Jealous that I won Amanda's heart and you did not. You set this whole thing up pretending to like my sister to bait me in, to make Amanda jealous, to convince her to leave me, and now you get a little title shot out of the deal. Well done. Well done. Your deception knows no bounds. Dio, you are more delusional than Hercules. Everything that has happened, you've done to yourself. Is that right? Hey, it's okay, Steve. I get it. I really do. I almost don't blame you. Let's rewind a year back. You win the Grand Rumble and main event WrestleNova. Thanks to my help, you become Grand Tour champion, a feat you would have never done on your own. Now you have the world living up the hype, the chosen one, the David who beat Goliath. You even got Amanda to kiss you. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? The moment you knew you liked her more than your little title. When that cult had kidnapped her, brainwashed her, when the Undertaker had her soul, forcing her as her disciple, you fought so hard to win her soul back. When you faced the Undertaker in that ladder match, defending your title, fighting for the briefcase that had her soul inside, the whole world knew how you felt. And yet, despite saving her, she was always just a friend. Dio, you better choose your next words very, very carefully. Oh, don't worry, Dynamite. there's more. A year later, despite everything you have done for her, she chooses me. I'm warning you, Dio. I had everything you wanted. Your belt, the girl of your dreams. I wonder how my sister would feel if she realized you were only using her to get to Amanda. And there's a right hand by Steven Dynamite. It looks like he just had enough of what Dio had to say there. And another right cross by Dio Sebastian. And Dynamite going an all-in assault on Dio Sebastian. And he comes with a backbreaker. Dynamite not liking what Dio said whatsoever. And looks like we're getting a little preview of things to come at tomorrow night's pay-per-view when we have Dio Sebastian versus Steven Dynamite for the Grand Tour Championship in an ambulance match. And Dynamite going to the top rope. And here comes a flying moonsault onto Dio Sebastian. Dynamite going completely crazy on him. You could definitely see that he pushes buttons enough. Here's Dynamite coming out of the ring. And a moonsault right outside the ring. Dynamite is going absolutely crazy right now. And he's going to the ring. He's bringing out a steel chair. He's going absolutely nuts. Dynamite has completely lost his mind. He tried to warn, he tried to tell Dio to shut the hell up. And Dio just wouldn't listen. And Dynamite going completely crazy, beating him with the steel chair. And this brings us to our big headliner match tomorrow night at the Grand Rumble. Dio Sebastian will defend that Grand Tour Championship against Steven Dynamite in an ambulance match. Which one of these two men will walk out of the ring as a champion and leave the arena, leave Greece in an ambulance? Find out in tomorrow night's pay-per-view live streaming here at Infinite Fantasy If/Twitch.tv. Coming up next, we have the Intercontinental Championship on the line, as Chosen will be challenging Grayson Holiday right here, right now, on Dystopia.
The following is scheduled for one fall and is for the Intercontinental Championship.
And here comes the challenger, former Intercontinental Champion, Chosen. After winning a brutal triple threat match Wednesday night on Brawl, Chosen has become the #1 contender after losing to Grayson Holiday just the other month. It was a hole that has left Chosen. A void that he needs to fill. A void that can only be filled with the Intercontinental Championship belt. And now Chosen will have the rematch that he's long awaited for. He has given his friend Benjamin Bourne a chance, and now, with Grayson Holiday dominating everyone in the Intercontinental Division, Chosen will finally have his big rematch. Can Chosen come on top and reclaim the Intercontinental belt here tonight? And here he is, folks. The Intercontinental Champion. This man has been dominating here in the mid-card division of GTW. Holding that belt high and proud. This is the man who defeated Chosen, ending his long reign as the Intercontinental Champion. He has defeated so many in his short time holding the belt, defeating wrestlers such as Benjamin Bourne. And now, the big rematch. Grayson Holiday looking to defeat Chosen for the second time and truly call himself champion. A crowd is on their feet. Both these men, fan favorites in the eyes of the fans of GTW. But only one man is walking out of Rome, Italy here tonight with the gold. Who will it be? Will it be Grayson Holiday or the challenger, Chosen?
Introducing the challenger from Kyoto, Japan, weighing in at 202 pounds, Chosen. And his opponent from Hickory, North Carolina, weighing in at 230 pounds, the Intercontinental Champion, the Savior, Andrew.
And there's the Intercontinental Champion holding the belt high and proud. Chosen taking a look at the prize, the former title that used to belong to him. He will have the chance to win it back tonight in this long-awaited rematch. Chosen ready. Grayson Holiday ready. And here comes the bell. And Chosen starting off with those strikes. Leg scissors by the challenger. And here's Chosen working on the leg of the Intercontinental Champion. Chosen working very smart in this match, trying to keep Grayson Holiday from standing. And here comes Chosen coming off the ropes as he goes for a Surton onto Grayson Holiday, immediately going for the pin. An immediate kick out by Grayson Holiday. Grayson Holiday now coming with the receipt. Leg scissors by the Intercontinental Champion. Now going for an immediate pin on Chosen. One, and a kick out by the challenger and former Intercontinental Champion. Grayson Holiday now moving in with a moonsault. And we see Grayson Holiday trying to beat Chosen at his own game with those high-flying moves. And Chosen out of nowhere with a clothesline, taking down the champion. And we can see that Chosen's fired up. He's been preparing for this match. He's been thinking about this rematch since the day he lost the Intercontinental Championship. And whoa, what a counter by Grayson Holiday, pulling the rope down, forcing Chosen to lose his balance. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, and a kick out by Chosen. Grayson Holiday, very impressive with his offensive moves, and even more impressive with the way he's playing defense. And he comes up the ropes. And here's the Holiday cutter. 1, 2, a kick out by Chosen. Grayson Holiday nearly had it, and very early in this match. And here's a Hurricanrana by the challenger, Chosen. Chosen coming off the ropes. And Grayson Holiday ducks under, dodging the attack. And look at those kicks. And Grayson Holiday, Chosen trying to keep his guard up, but eventually Grayson Holiday breaks through. And here comes the pin by the champion. 1, 2, a kick out by Chosen. I can only imagine what this would do to Chosen's ego if he were to lose this match tonight. To lose a second time to Grayson Holiday. And here comes Chosen, making his way to the top rope. Grayson Holiday sees him coming, and he throws him off the top turnbuckle. Once again, intercepted by the Intercontinental Champion. And now he's waiting for Chosen to get to his feet. Grayson Holiday's ready. And Chosen ducks under. Amazing counter by the challenger as Chosen now makes his way to the second turnbuckle. Grayson Holiday barely getting up to his feet. And here comes Chosen with a high-flying move, thrusting both knees into the face of the champion. And now Chosen going for his famous shooting star press. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by Grayson Holiday. And this is a very close match. You can see the fire in Chosen's eyes. He wants the title back so badly. And there's a cutter by Chosen. Both these men are very impressive athletes. Both definitely made of things of champion. And both definitely deserving of the Intercontinental title. You can see that both Grayson Holiday and Chosen giving this match everything they have. As Grayson Holiday now throws Chosen against the ropes. He goes over. He goes under. And a spinning heel kick by the Intercontinental Champion. Now here's Grayson Holiday on the top rope. There goes a frog splash, and he lands. It was like Holiday may have hurt himself on that exchange as well. And yet, here he comes, going for a second high-risk move. Could this be a way? Could this be the win? It is. Grayson Holiday successfully defends his Intercontinental Championship.
Here is your winner, and still Intercontinental Champion, the Savior, Andrew Holiday.
Grayson Holiday with another impressive victory, beating Chosen for the second time. This man is 100% deserving to call himself the Intercontinental Champion. He seems to be completely untouchable. Another huge, successful title defense. Don't worry, folks. We're going to be right back with more GTW action. Is coming up next. We got a tag team match. The women's champion Rachel Rodriguez will be teaming up with Jennifer Love to take on the Kabuki Warriors next on Dystopia. Archangel, I'm glad I found you. I'm trying to find Hercules. Where is he? As a matter of fact, he and Amber are already in Greece. They want to make sure they are well rested before they destroy the Red Faction tomorrow. Is that right? Yep. I guess your games will not work tonight. Whew. You're funny, Archangel. You're really funny. You know, it occurred to me that you have not really defended your hardcore title since you first won it. I kind of feel maybe you're neglecting your duties as a GTW championship holder. What's your point? I think tonight is a good night for a title defense. Good luck, champ. What? What? Do I even get to know who my opponent is? Like I said, good luck. Well, it seems tonight we're going to be having a hardcore championship match as Archangel will be defending against an unknown opponent. And you all know the rules to defending a hardcore championship match. Anyone that anyone that goes for the hardcore title, automatically it will be set in a hardcore rules match, and that's what we got looking forward to later tonight. However, what we got looking forward to next, we got tag team action as the women's champion Rachel Rodriguez and Jennifer Love will finally be settling their differences with the Kabuki Warriors right here tonight on Dystopia.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall. Introducing first, from Cleveland, Ohio, Jennifer Love.
And we're about to start things off in tonight's tag team match. Asuka lately has been getting on the nerves of a lot of women in the locker room. Most of all, Rachel Rodriguez and Jennifer Love. Causing a distraction, last week Jennifer Love loses her opportunity in tonight's Fatal 4-Way match. And despite losing a title match against Rachel Rodriguez a long time ago, and despite that Rachel Rodriguez set to defend her title tomorrow night against Amanda Price, she just won't leave her alone. And tonight, they're ready to put an end to this rivalry once and for all.
Los Angeles, California, the women's champion, Rachel Rodriguez.
And here's a very impressive women's champion, Rachel Rodriguez. Tonight, she'll be settling the score with the Kabuki Warriors, but tomorrow night, live on pay-per-view, when we're at Greece for the Grand Rumble, Rachel Rodriguez will be defending the Women's World title against Amanda Price. A match for the ages, as we have two high-caliber athletes compete for the most prestigious title in the women's division. That'll be live streaming tomorrow on Twitch. Asuka, the leader of the faction known as Damage Control, making her way to the ring with her partner, Kairi Sane. Together they form the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka has been trying to do something of a hostile takeover when it comes to the women's division here in GTW, completely harassing Rachel Rodriguez and anyone involved in the title picture whatsoever. Kairi Sane, following her senpai, as you will, ready to be her tag team partner. This is a high tensions grudge match between these four women. And I'll tell you, Rachel Rodriguez, she has a title match to worry about tomorrow night. Tonight's the night she needs to settle this. And we're going to start off with Jennifer Love and Kairi Sane as the two legal women in tonight's tag team match. And look at those kicks by Jennifer Love, coming off the rope, springing with a missile drop kick. And you could just see the aggression from Jennifer Love here as she goes to town on Kairi Sane. The Kabuki Warriors been a thorn in her side for a couple of months now. And Jennifer Love on her social media was just talking about how she could not wait to get her hands on the Kabuki Warriors. And now Jennifer Love tagging in the women's champion. Here comes Rachel Rodriguez with a moonsault, but Kairi Sane rolls out of the way. And Kairi Sane attempts a high-risk maneuver. Rachel Rodriguez counters. And the women's champion going for the pin. And here's the thing, I understand that Rachel Rodriguez needs to settle the score with Asuka. I understand that these two women need to get the Kabuki Warriors out of the way, but Rachel Rodriguez also has to consider that she is defending the title in tomorrow night's pay-per-view event, and Amanda Price is not going to be an easy opponent to defeat. Rachel Rodriguez now going for the pin. One, and here comes a kick out by Kairi Sane. Amanda Price might be the toughest opponent Rachel Rodriguez will ever step in the ring with. After all, she is a former women's champion herself. And it's still debatable whether she would have beaten Brenda Bison or not back at Rising Sun if not for the interference of the old gods. Now I got Jennifer Love, the legal woman in this match. Kairi Sane has been taking a beating from both Rachel Rodriguez and Love here. If she is going to last this match, she needs to make that tag to Asuka. And here's Jennifer Love. The flying kick onto Kairi Sane. She makes a tag to Rachel Rodriguez. Kairi Sane slowly making her way to Asuka. And she gets the tag. Asuka now in the ring. And a twisting neckbreaker by Rachel Rodriguez. Now coming with the clothesline, knocking Asuka off her feet. Rodriguez off the ropes and Asuka dodges. There's the grapple. Rodriguez throwing Asuka into the corner. This is exactly what Rachel Rodriguez was hoping in this match, to get in the ring with Asuka one-on-one here. And now the women's champion looking to make Asuka pay for every little interference, every little distraction, every little ounce of disrespect she has caused over the last couple of months. And here comes Asuka, getting the upper hand. Rachel Rodriguez with the reversal. She runs across the ring, throwing the elbow across the face of her opponent. Asuka with the receive, followed by a drop kick. And there's Rodriguez knocking Kairi Sane out outside the ring. And here comes a forward suplex onto Asuka. The women's champion single-handedly taking out both members of the Kabuki Warriors. Rodriguez throwing Asuka back into the ring. Due to the request of the women's champion Rachel Rodriguez, there will be no countout in this tag team match. This match is about settling grudges, and this will not end without either a pinfall, submission, or disqualification. Asuka now tagging Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, throwing Rachel Rodriguez off the ropes with a double arm drag. And Rodriguez makes a tag to Jennifer Love, and we're back to the two women who started this match. Love versus Sane. Jennifer Love going for the pin. 1, 2, and there's Asuka breaking up the count. Jennifer Love throwing Kairi Sane off the ropes, and there's a super kick as she once again goes for the pin. 1, 2, and a kick out by Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane ended up in very bad shape here as Jennifer Love decimates her. You can see the size difference between these two women. Kairi Sane, the smallest one in that ring. And here comes Love and Rodriguez throwing Kairi Sane off the ropes with a double hip toss. There's a kick to the back by the women's champion. And once again, Rodriguez has to be careful not to overexert herself in this match. She has to be very careful to hold on to as much energy as she can. Her performance tonight could, the results of tomorrow night's match could depend on how much damage Rodriguez takes in this tag team match. And I think Rodriguez is starting to realize that as she's now setting Kairi Sane up for the finisher. And here comes the pin. 1, 2, 3, and Rodriguez and Jennifer Love defeat the Kabuki Warriors.
Here are your winners, Jennifer Love and Rachel Rodriguez.
A quick tag team victory by this power team right here. And Rachel Rodriguez looking ever so confident, ready for her match against Amanda Price tomorrow night at the Grand Rumble, live on pay-per-view. We'll be live streaming the event here at Infinite Fantasy if/twitch.tv. That'll be tomorrow night. The Women's Championship on the line. Rachel Rodriguez versus Amanda Price. And the crowd is exploding here in Italy as the Texas Rattlesnake Stone Cold Steve Austin makes his way to the ring. Stone Cold Steve Austin will be challenging Jon Moxley tomorrow night for the World Heavyweight Championship in a death match. This is meant to be Stone Cold Steve Austin's retirement match. And now we're all wondering, will Stone Cold Steve Austin retire tomorrow night as the GTW World Heavyweight Champion, or will Moxley give him the fight that he's been itching for since his return to pro wrestling? I have to say, I've been in business for a long time. Moxley, you gave me a taste on Brawl back in Germany, and I can't wait to see you what the main course in Greece is like. So when I see you tomorrow night at the Grand Rumble, I want you to know I'm glad you are impressed. I, on the other hand, was disappointed. When I was younger, I used to watch you on TV. I used to watch you dominate every night. You held back. You never accepted weakness. I do not accept weakness. If you want to retire tomorrow night, Austin, as the heavyweight champion, I need to see the real Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not this washed up has-been trying to relive the glory days. You see, this title does not belong to you. It does not belong to me. It belongs to all of them. To every fan that has made all of this possible, and I will keep fighting for them to bring wrestling back to the level they deserve. What? I'm sorry. Did I interrupt? What? I asked if you were finished. What? I said, are you finished? Well then let me retort. You come out here running your mouth about how you're fighting for the fans, how you're here to save wrestling. Son, I am wrestling. You want to fight for the fans? Well, guess what? The fans just want to see us fight. So here's what Stone Cold is gonna do. Jon Moxley versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a death match at the Grand Rumble. Tomorrow night, our blood will paint all grease. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you. You're gonna beat the hell out of me. And maybe you will win and stay champion. And if that's the case, then so be it. But I aim to retire tomorrow's match, and I intend to take that pretty little belt as my trinket. My gold watch to retire with. I'm gonna shine it real nice every night. Hang that strap on my wall. Look at every single day to remind me how badly Austin 316 whooped your ass. But here's the bottom line, son. We're in Italy. And maybe, just maybe, I don't want to wait until tomorrow. Maybe, just maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin just wants a piece of Moxley right here, right now. What do you say, Moxley? You want to fight for the fans? Well, let's hear what the fans have to say. If you want Stone Cold Steve Austin to beat Jon Moxley's ass, give me a hell yeah! Hell yeah! Well, you know what they say. When in Rome. And there's Austin with a right hand onto Jon Moxley. And Moxley with a right hand onto Steve Austin. And the two going back, and there's Moxley with a knee, and Austin coming back with two hits. And there's Stone Cold with a shoulder tackle onto Jon Moxley. And he throws him over the top rope. Austin in pursuit of the World Heavyweight Champion. Looks like we're not going to be ready to the Grand Rumble tomorrow night. These two are going at it right here, right now. Stone Cold open a can of whoop ass on the World Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley. We had a little preview on Wednesday when these two faced off in a tag team match. And there's Austin throwing Moxley into the steel stairs. And Moxley now coming back at Austin. And he throws him right into the barricade. And what's this? Moxley coming over to the announcer's desk. He's going for that steel chair. Austin barely getting to his feet. And there's Moxley hitting Stone Cold Steve Austin with the chair. And he's just beating the hell out of Austin with it. And Moxley taking a little second to celebrate. And Austin coming back at Jon Moxley. Throws him into the barricade. And Austin smashing his head. We just had a little exchange. And Austin walking away. Could this be a sign of things to come when Jon Moxley defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin tomorrow night at the Grand Rumble in a death match? There will be no disqualification, no countout. It's going to be a bloody mess, and there's no better way for Stone Cold Steve Austin to retire than to go swinging. Who will be World Heavyweight Champion? Will Jon Moxley be able to retain the title and elevate GTW as he plans, or will Austin retire with the gold? Find out tomorrow night on our pay-per-view event, the Grand Rumble, live streaming here on Twitch. Coming up next, the Hardcore Championship will now be defended. We just got word that Archangel's opponent will be none other than Joe Hendry.
The following contest is an Extreme Rules match and is for the Hardcore Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, say his name and he shall appear. The fans in Italy off their seats, on their feet, as Joe Hendry makes his way in the ring to challenge Archangel for the Hardcore Championship. Earlier tonight, when Charles Elliott was asking the whereabouts of Hercules, instead of getting a true answer, Archangel just gave him a snide remark. As a result, Charles Elliott brought up that Archangel, ever since winning the Hardcore Championship from Catalysm, has not once defended the title. Well, tonight, Joe Hendry has heard the call, and now he's coming out to make the challenge. Could Joe Hendry be walking away tonight as the new Hardcore Champion? And here comes the Hardcore Champion, Archangel, making his way to the ring. Amber Charlotte and Hercules are not present here tonight, as they have already gone forward to Greece, hoping to be completely rested up before their big tag team match tomorrow night against the Red Faction in tomorrow's pay-per-view event. Hercules and Amber Charlotte will be in an intergender tag team match against Andre Armstrong and Brenda Bison. If Hercules and Amber Charlotte can win, Hercules will become the #1 contender for the world title. But if Hercules loses, the no accountability clause in his contract will be completely removed, and Hercules from that point forward may be held accountable for all his actions to the full extent. But for tonight, what we have on the line is the GTW Hardcore Championship.
Introducing the challenger from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 231 pounds, Joe Hendry. And his opponent from Boise, Idaho, weighing in at 266 pounds, the Hardcore Champion, Archangel.
This will be Archangel's first title defense, and it would figure that the first man to challenge him for this title is Joe Hendry. This will be a hardcore rules match, no disqualification, no countout, weapons completely encouraged in tonight's match. And here comes the bell, the referee in this ring, only to count the pins and check for the submissions. And Joe Hendry starting strong, using joint manipulation on the Hardcore Champion, Archangel. And there's Joe Hendry driving both knees into the back of the Hardcore Champion. There's a cross body drop by Joe Hendry. And look at him laying in those left hands, those heavy punches into the skull of Archangel. here's Joe Henry taking advantage of the hardcore stipulation as he goes into the ring for a steel chair. And Archangel counters with a big boot and a power slam into the barricade. Joe Henry kicking him off. Archangel saw that steel chair coming a mile away. But again, the advantage goes to the challenger, Joe Henry. And there's Archangel's head bouncing off the steel ring post. You see the hardcore champion desperately fighting back as he goes for his heavy punches to the ribs to Joe Henry there. Joe Henry with a counter as he gives Archangel the receipt. And Joe Henry slamming Archangel's head into the ring apron. And here comes Joe Henry with his signature guitar. Archangel once again with a counter. It looked like Joe Henry was about to play Archangel's song there, but it seems the concert was just canceled. There's a fireman's carry by the challenger, slamming Archangel onto that unforgiving floor. Only a thin layer of mat between them and the concrete. And here's Joe Henry bringing out a Singapore cane, beating his opponent to death with it, and he gets Archangel between the eyes with the foreign object. And Joe Henry looking to make his way into the ring. Archangel throwing him out, and there's Archangel slamming Joe Henry's shoulder full force into the steel stairs. Joe Henry now being thrown in the ring. Archangel going for that Singapore cane. There's a kick by Joe Henry, stopping Archangel's hands, and look at him rolling those elbows across the face of the hardcore champion. And there's a GTS by Joe Henry. 1, 2, and a kick out by Archangel. Joe Henry nearly had it. We almost had a new hardcore champion. And there's Joe Henry breaking the Singapore cane over the head of Archangel, followed by a big boot. Here he is working on the leg of his opponent here. And here he is measuring him up. Joe Henry over the rope. Archangel rolls out of the way. And he rolls Joe Henry into a pin. 1. And a kick out by Joe Henry. And you see Archangel measuring up, scouting his prey as he runs across the ring. And look at him, just scraping his boot across the face of the challenger. And oh my gosh, coming off the ropes, full momentum, kicking Joe Henry across the face. Joe Henry trying to fight back, and a counter by the hardcore champion. Joe Henry throwing an elbow and a Superman punch by the challenger. Joe Henry going for the pin, for the title. And a kick out, Archangel getting the shoulder up at the last moment. And now Joe Henry sizing him up, looking to go for the finish. He smells blood in the water. The hardcore championship nearly in his grasp as he goes for another GTS. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, another kick out by Archangel, and the look on disbelief on Joe Henry's face. He can't believe it. Archangel managing to kick out. We were just a split second away from a new hardcore champion. Joe Henry barely able to stand up as Archangel now playing with him. And he comes in hot with a big boot coming off the ropes. Now he's sizing up Joe Henry. Archangel feels victory in hand. And Archangel with his own GTS onto Joe Henry. 1, 2, and a kick out. Joe Henry gets the shoulder up. He's still in this match. We still could have a new champion. Archangel going in the ring, and he's bringing out a wooden door. We have a wooden door in play, and Joe Henry attempting to fly out of the ring. Archangel dodging it. As Archangel with a lariat elbow flying outside the ring. Joe Henry in a lot of trouble right now as Archangel going in the ring for more foreign objects to bring out a second Singapore cane. And there's Joe Henry with a big boot. A kick right to the face, stopping the Hardcore Champion in his tracks. And this ain't all the action we have tonight. Coming up is our main event, another championship match, the championship match, as we have a fatal four-way to determine our first ever women's European champion here in Italy. And we got four amazing competitors: Brenda Bison, Timeless Toni Storm, Haley Webb, and of course, the ever so beautiful Rebecca Troy, all competing tonight so they can make history to be the first ever women's European champion. And that's going to be coming up after tonight's Hardcore Championship match. Archangel now on the top rope, flying outside. Joe Henry dodges. Joe Henry throwing Archangel back in the ring. Using arms leverage, he's throwing those kicks to the face of Archangel. Moonsault off the ropes, and here comes the pin. 1, 2, a kick out by the Hardcore Champion Archangel. Joe Henry doesn't know what to do at this point. He's trying to think, how is he gonna put the Hardcore Champion away? And it just took a little too much time there. Archangel able to recalibrate himself, coming out with a Superman punch. And that might have been all Archangel needs. He's going for the pin, using the ropes as leverage. Completely legal in a Hardcore Rules match, and Joe Henry still kicking out. And here comes Archangel with another GTS onto Joe Henry. He could retain. 1, 2, a kick out again, and look at Archangel visibly frustrated in this match. Here comes Archangel coming off the ropes. And a cross-body drop. Followed by a double axe handle off the second turnbuckle. Again, going for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and Archangel retains the Hardcore Championship.
Here is your winner, and still Hardcore Champion, Archangel.
A successful title defense, and Archangel's very first title defense. The right-hand man of the All Gods, still the GTW Hardcore Champion. Coming up, we have our main event. A fatal four-way between Brenda Bison, Toni Storm, Rebecca Troy, and Haley Webb to determine GTW's very first women's European champion. And here she is, the girl from Salem, the witch, the little sister of the Grand Tour champion Dio Sebastian, a former one-half member of the Fallen not too long ago. It was the witch who finally had enough of her brother's nonsense and decided to break up the band. It was the witch who decided that she no longer wanted to be part of the Fallen, no longer wanted to be Theo Sebastian's tag team partner. And now the witch, looking forward to a career as a solo wrestler in the women's division. It was on the pause page. Theo, there was a time I looked up to you. When I saw you, I saw my big brother, the man who takes Dad's mantle, the next King, Demon King Sebastian. You even did something our father could have never done. You won the Grand Tour Championship. But sadly, you changed. You have become insecure and bitter. Tonight, I just saw you gaslight my friend, Stephen Dynamite. You played on his emotions to make yourself feel better. I'm here to say I had enough. Walking away from you is no longer an option. The thing is, Dio, you are not the best Sebastian in the ring. You are not the true heir to our father's mantle, and I am going to prove it. At first, I was going to just take the night off, watch the Grand Rumble as a spectator, because I did not want to chase the Grand Tour title if it meant taking it from you. Now my feelings have changed. I have officially put in my entry for the Grand Rumble tomorrow night on pay-per-view. I know in my heart I can win, and when I do, when I am the last wrestler standing in the ring, after I have gone through 29 eliminations, I will be your opponent at the main event of WrestleNova. And when you find yourself having to defend your title against your own sister, when you realize that I am the better competitor, and when I win the title from you and you realize I am not your sidekick, that I am the best in-ring athlete, I want you to realize that you did this all to yourself. Dio, you better hope Dynamite wins, because if he does not take that belt from you, I'll be the one coming for you next. And the declaration from the witch, she has officially announced that she will be entering the Grand Rumble. She will be one out of 29 other contestants. A mix of the men and women's division will be competing in tomorrow night's main event in our pay-per-view. The Grand Rumble will start off with 2 competitors. Every 2 minutes, a new competitor will enter the ring until all 30 have entered the match. You will eliminate your opponent by throwing him over the top rope. Both feet must touch the ground. The last one standing in the ring will be declared the winner of the Grand Rumble and will main event our biggest show ever, WrestleNova, and it will be for the Grand Tour Championship. The witch has made her declaration that she will win the Grand Rumble tomorrow night, and she will be the one to take on her brother. Will her predictions come true? Who will win the 30 wrestler Grand Rumble match tomorrow night in our pay-per-view event? Tune in live here on Twitch tomorrow to see this colossal main event to find out. I want women's title match. Asuka, the greatest wrestler, you will give me my match against Rodriguez. Well, the problem there is we already have a title match tomorrow, so nothing can be done until the match is decided. We still have one more empty slot on the card tomorrow. How about you and Jennifer Love settle things one-on-one tomorrow at the Grand Rumble in a number 1 contender match? The winner faces whoever is women's champion after tomorrow night. See? You are smart. You make right choice. I need a drink. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Dystopia's main event here in Rome, Italy. For 2 weeks now, we've been having qualifying matches between many different women in the women's division to determine who our 4 competitors will be. It's going to be Rebecca Troy versus Brenda Bison versus the timeless Toni Storm versus Haley Webb. The winner will make history here tonight and become GTW's very first Women's European Champion, and that's coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for tonight's main event. A fatal 4-way match to determine who will be the first ever Women's European Champion. And we're starting off as the Russian assassin Brenda Bison makes her way to the ring, being accompanied by her tag team partner, the Men's European Champion Andre Armstrong.
Is a fatal 4-way match and is for the Women's European Championship. Making her way to the ring, representing the red faction from St. Petersburg, Russia, the assassin Brenda Bison.
The Russian assassin, ever so ready, ever so focused. Brenda Bison's goals of reclaiming the Women's World Championship has gone to flames after losing to Rachel Rodriguez. However, Bison now has a new goal, something even more meaningful. She has a chance to make history and become the first ever Women's European Champion. If she wins, both her and Andre Armstrong, together as the Red Faction, will both hold the European titles.
And her opponents, first, from Gold Coast, Australia, Toni Storm.
And here's the timeless Toni Storm. She's already made history once here in Grand Tour Wrestling by becoming the first woman to ever win the Grand Tour Championship after defeating Dio Submission. Defeating Dio Sebastian by submission. And now Toni Storm has a chance to make history once more. The Women's European Championship on the line. No one has ever held the title before. Will the timeless Toni Storm be the one to make history twice in her GTW career?
And accompanied by Damian Maximus, representing the Olympians from Baltimore, Maryland, the Olympian Rebecca Troy.
Rebecca Troy being accompanied by Damian Maximus, the man decreed to be her tag team partner. However, it seems as of late, they've become a little more than just a tag team. It almost seems Rebecca Troy's become absolutely infatuated with this man. At one point, she was a woman, part of a group that had kidnapped him, and slowly they had brainwashed him to becoming a member of the Old Gods. But now, joining them, now spending quality time together, it seems that they would follow each other anywhere. And tonight, Damian Maximus will be in Rebecca Troy's corner as she competes in this fatal 4-way match.
From Cobb County, Georgia, Haley Webb.
And here comes Haley Webb, who in the last few recent months has made a huge name for herself in GTW. Winning match after match, has become so over with the crowd that you can feel the electricity here in Italy. Rome has become a high ground for Haley Webb. Haley Webb has yet to win a championship, just coming out of the undercard, now in the mid-card roster, looking to make history here tonight. She's looking to make her first championship win, the Women's European Champion, and becoming the first ever to do so. And there it is, the brand new Women's European Championship on the line. Who will be our first European champion here tonight? Will be Toni Storm, Brenda Bison, Rebecca Troy, or Haley Webb? And here comes the bell. This fatal 4-way is on its way. Rebecca Troy gaining the advantage over Brenda Bison as Toni Storm tangles up with Haley Webb. We got Toni Storm knocking down Haley Webb, using the ropes as leverage as she chokes her with the heel of her boot. Meanwhile, Brenda Bison gaining a reversal on Rebecca Troy, putting her in a submission hold immediately. Haley Webb doing the same, getting a pin on Toni Storm, and a kick out by Toni Storm. Toni Storm now with a counterattack, laying those heavy hits. And with both Haley Webb and Brenda Bison down, it seems Toni Storm now has her eyes on Rebecca Troy. Here comes Brenda Bison, thrusting the knee into the spine of Haley Webb. And look at Toni Storm picking up that dead weight of Rebecca Troy with a German suplex as she bridges into a pin, and Brenda Bison breaks out the count. Now Brenda Bison going for a snap suplex onto Toni Storm. Haley Webb and Brenda Bison now double teaming on Rebecca Troy, and here comes Toni Storm getting into the mix. There's a jawbreaker by Brenda Bison as she throws Toni Storm against the ropes, and a counter by Toni Storm. And now we got Rebecca Troy with the Irish whip. The attempted scoop body slam by Haley Webb counters, and here comes a flying Superman punch by Haley Webb. Haley Webb now going for the pin. One, and a kick out by Rebecca Troy. And there's a lariat takedown from behind. Haley Webb taking down Toni Storm. We see Brenda Bison knocked down in the corner, and here comes Rebecca Troy taking advantage of the no disqualification rules here in this fatal four-way match as she starts beating on Haley Webb with a Singapore cane. And here comes Toni Storm to the rescue as she takes down Rebecca Troy. And there's a dropkick by Toni Storm. Brenda Bison in the background on the top rope. Double axe out from behind onto Haley Webb. And we see Toni Storm working on the hand of Rebecca Troy now. Brenda Bison coming in with a power slam onto the timeless Toni Storm. She follows up with an elbow drop. And a huge neckbreaker by Brenda Bison. She's on fire. She goes for a clothesline on Rebecca Troy. And here's Haley Webb going for the headlock, sweeping the leg of the Russian assassin. And you see that Haley Webb means business. She aims to leave tonight as the first ever Women's European Champion. And she goes for the Irish Whip. Rebecca Troy off the ropes. And a wheelbarrow DDT by Haley Webb. And here comes the pin. One, and there's Brenda Bison breaking up the count. Brenda Bison going for the Irish Whip onto Haley Webb. Haley Webb with a clothesline. Here comes Rebecca Troy with a spear onto Haley. Rebecca Troy going for a pin. A very short attempt as Brenda Bison breaks it up. And now there's Brenda Bison with those hard left and rights onto the timeless Toni Storm. And there's Brenda Bison with a backbreaker. Rebecca Troy showing her dominance over Haley Webb with that backhand. Now going for the pin. One, two, and a kick out by Haley Webb. Brenda Bison now drawing her attention towards Rebecca Troy. And there's a fisherman suplex by Brenda Bison. Here comes Toni Storm though, grabbing Brenda Bison from behind. And a double team. Toni Storm and Haley Webb for momentarily working as a team to take out Brenda Bison. We got Bison and Haley Webb fighting ringside here as Brenda Bison goes for a fisherman suplex. And there's Toni Storm with a superplex onto Rebecca Troy. Go for the pin. Brenda Bison gets in the ring just in time to break it up. We got Rebecca Troy putting Toni Storm in a fireman's carry. There's a buster by Rebecca Troy. He has a Singapore cane in hand. Haley Webb goes for the pin, and Rebecca Troy breaks it up. Toni Storm coming in, snap suplex onto Troy. Haley Webb going for a lariat on Brenda Bison, only intercepted by Toni Storm with a DDT. There's Toni Storm sweeping Brenda Bison off her feet. Now going for those elbows onto Rebecca Troy. Toni Storm's on fire. She's taking on all three women at once. And here comes Brenda Bison going for the submission hold. She's got it locked in. And Haley Webb off the top rope. She broke the submission, but has also accidentally knocked out the referee. I repeat, the referee is down. We no longer have an official in this fatal four-way championship match. Troy going for that Irish Whip. Toni Storm in the corner. She goes for a corkscrew. And there's a submission hold, but no referee. We got both Bison and Toni Storm in submission holds, but there's no referee. And there's Rebecca Troy breaking up the hold. Toni Storm kicking her off. The referee has finally stirred. A suplex by Brenda Bison. And there's Damian Maximus distracting Brenda Bison ringside. Toni Storm looking to take advantage. Bison immediately with a counter though. And looking at the corner of the ring now, I see, Brenda Bison being slammed into the exposed turnbuckle. She's knocked out. Rebecca Troy going for the pin. And Toni Storm gets the shoulder up barely. That might have been her chance to go for the win right there, as Brenda Bison and Haley Webb were both temporarily incapacitated. There's a snap suplex by Rebecca Troy. Brenda Bison with a submission locked on to Haley Webb. Rebecca Troy going for the pin, immediately broken up by Brenda Bison. And there's Rebecca Troy being thrown into the exposed turnbuckle there. Exposed turnbuckle in the corner of the ring, becoming Achilles' heel. Toni Storm for the pin. And Rebecca Troy breaks up just in the nick of time. Arm drag by Haley Webb. Toni Storm coming in with the interception. Here comes the pin for the European title. 1, 2, and a kick out. Toni Storm was just a split second away from making history once again, GTW. And here comes Rebecca Troy with a Samoan drop onto Toni Storm. And Brenda Bison hitting Haley Webb with a sledgehammer. Rebecca Troy coming in after Brenda Bison, not one to be on the receiving end of that foreign object. And Troy with that win, immediately broken up by Haley Webb. And Haley Webb with a massive German suplex, just flinging Rebecca Troy across the ring. Brenda Bison taking out Haley Webb with a clothesline. Troy barely getting to her feet. Bison completely in control in this fatal four-way match. Every woman for herself. The prize being the first ever Women's European Champion. And there's Haley Webb taking out Brenda Bison. Here comes the pin. 1, 2, and Toni Storm breaks it up just in the nick of time. This fatal four-way championship match continues. There's Toni Storm hammering away on onto Haley Webb. Brenda Bison being thrown into the exposed turnbuckle. Once again, the Achilles heel in this fatal four-way match. And everyone knocked out except for Rebecca Troy. Toni Storm slowly getting to her feet. Rebecca Troy had her back turned. Toni Storm now taking advantage. And here comes a pile driver from Toni Storm. Bison getting back up, and a lariat punch onto Haley Webb, breaking up the count between Toni Storm and Rebecca Troy. And here comes Toni Storm. Suplex onto Brenda Bison, a vertical suplex. Now Toni Storm putting her focus on Haley Webb. She took her eyes off Rebecca Troy, now taking advantage of the distraction. Haley Webb with a Singapore cane in hand. And she just hits Toni Storm across the back, breaking the Singapore cane into pieces. Brenda Bison coming in with a second one, throwing it across the ring, breaking it over Toni Storm's head. Haley Webb goes for the pin. And Rebecca Troy kicks out. Bison with a takedown onto Haley Webb, realizing that she took her eye off the ball a little too long there. Now she's going for the pin with all the wrestlers incapacitated. Toni Storm stirring just in time to break up the count. And Toni Storm with that DDT on Rebecca Troy. Brenda Bison going for the figure four leg lock onto Haley Webb. Toni Storm with a front splash onto Troy. She goes for the pin. 1, and Bison breaks up the submission hold so she can interrupt the count. Fisherman suplex by Brenda Bison onto Toni Storm. All three women down. And there's Damian Maximus distracting Brenda Bison. Bison just had a chance to capitalize and Maximus distracting her. And now Toni Storm's throwing Brenda Bison headfirst into the exposed turnbuckle. Bison could have had the match right there. There's Rebecca Troy coming in with a big boot onto Toni Storm. Now attacking Brenda Bison with the sledgehammer. Here it comes. We could have our European champion right here. And Brenda Bison with a kick out, and Rebecca Troy disputing with the ref. Now goes for a pin again, using the ref's leverage, completely legal in this fatal four-way match. There's Rebecca Troy smashing her face into the canvas. Here comes the pin, and Haley Webb breaking up the count. There's a knee by Haley Webb, taking down Rebecca Troy. And we got Haley Webb completely in control of this match. Every single woman is down except for Haley Webb. And here comes Haley Webb with a frog splash. Moonsault striking the knees into the gut of Rebecca Troy. And a pile driver by Haley Webb. This could be her chance. She goes for the pin on Rebecca Troy. 1, 2. And a kick out by Haley Webb. Toni Storm now getting in the ring. Toni Storm now going for that Irish whip, throwing into Haley Webb. She's about to go for a Russian leg sweep. Brenda Bison with a counter. And here comes Rebecca Troy attempting a German suplex. Toni Storm now has a grasp on Brenda Bison, smashing her head into the turnbuckle. And here's Rebecca Troy coming into the ring with a steel chair. Brenda Bison answers with the sledgehammer. And now she's sizing Haley Webb up. And here comes Toni Storm from behind. Brenda Bison allowing herself to be distracted. Toni Storm with a Russian leg sweep. And here comes the pin. Haley Webb breaking it up. There's a huge takedown from Toni Storm. And here's Rebecca Troy with a spear onto Brenda Bison. Alright, this is every woman for herself in this match. Whoever wins will make history as our first Women's Grand Tour Wrestling European Champion. We're live here in Rome, Italy. One night before our pay-per-view event, the Grand Rumble live streaming tomorrow here on Twitch. Here comes Toni Storm with the pin. 1, 2, 3, and Toni Storm makes history twice here in GTW.
Here is your winner and new Women's European Champion, Toni Storm.
What a massacre this match was. All 4 women giving it everything they have. But tonight belongs to the timeless Toni Storm, our first ever Women's European Champion. What an amazing match. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Here on Twitch, we got the Grand Rumble, where we're going to be having Stone Cold Steve Austin and Jon Moxley for the World Heavyweight title in a death match. Rachel Rodriguez will be defending the Women's World Championship against Amanda Price. The Old Gods versus the Red Faction. If the Old Gods win, Hercules will become #1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. But if the Red Faction wins, Hercules will lose his no accountability clause in his contract. Then, the Grand Tour Championship on the line, as Steven Dynamite will be challenging Dio Sebastian in a very personal ambulance match. All followed up by our main event, the Grand Rumble. 30 wrestlers will enter, both men and women, over the top rope elimination style match. It will start with 2. Every 2 minutes, a new competitor enters the ring until all 30 participants have entered the Grand Rumble. The last one standing in the ring will be the #1 contender for the Grand Tour Championship at our biggest show ever, WrestleNova. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. This is your host, Infinite Fantasy, signing out. If for those of you watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to know when new episodes of GTW come near you. And for those of you who watch, those of you here on Twitch, don't forget to follow. I am so close to reaching associates. Every little bit of support helps. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We have the Grand Rumble live on pay-per-view. This is Infinite Fantasy signing out. May your fantasies be infinite.